So I'm off to Cardiff now, 2.5 hour drive there to see my client Ashley. He's collected his first set of keys to a Rent HMO. So I'm excited to get a tour on this property, find out all about it. How long did it take him to secure it? How much profit it's going to make? How long of a term is it? What was the deal with the landlord? To show you guys and give you an insight on exactly how we operate, how my mentees get deals. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting day. Long day on the road, but hey, I love it. So it's what we do.
Take a look here. So it pretty much extends down to this double gate here. That does open, and that can also be used as a drive. Probably won't use it because there are cars pretty much always parked there. Oh, wow. But that could be used as a drive potentially. I fitted the master lock yesterday, so that's nice. All fitted. You walk in here, I've got the living room. There's gloss on the walls on the frame, so watch your elbows and shoulders.
All right, let's shut the door.
All right, so
I like the floor.
This is the living room. It's very well tiled and very well kind of painted. All the walls are already smooth, so I don't have to spend a tremendous amount of time kind of stripping all the walls of wallpaper. Yeah. The standard of this is very good. I've been really fortunate with that. Throughout, you'll see the flooring. There's laminate flooring throughout, or good tiles throughout. As you can see, I'm kind of mid-renovation, so I've got little bits of furniture here and there dotted around, and a few tools and things like that. All the blinds really are knackered. They all need replacing. I've got these minor little payment points that I'm going to have to make. I'm trying to get the landlord to pay for a few things, but because he's international and I'm going through the agent, it's pretty tricky to get that. Get that done, wrapped up quickly in the time frame that I need it to. So I might have to just pay out my own pocket and try and get some of that money back from the tenants by paying first and last month's rent. And a lot of the furniture needs replacing in here because they're all kind of worn edges and things. They're cheap furniture. So all I'm thinking of doing is telling the tenants when they come for viewings that the furniture is on order, and that when they move in, it'll all get replaced. It's just because I'm ordering so much for all the rooms, there's a bit of a delay in it, so I can get all the money from the tenants, use that money and buy all the new furniture. That's if I can't get the landlord to agree to replace it.
Which you might struggle with because you made the offer based on the current condition.
And I pitched the idea to the agent that I could not pay rent for August. The rent is £2,740, negotiated down from £3,100. Yeah, so nice. Pretty nice negotiation.
700 off.
And 50% for the first month's rent off as well.
It works like that. Is it? Yeah. I always say it's like if you're advertising a car and you want £3,000 for it, you're going to advertise it at 3.5. To be knocked down. Landlords and agents doing exactly the same.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Let's head through there.
So the sofas were included here. I've bought these coffee tables, or side tables. That coffee table there I made myself a while ago. There used to be a carpenter. I still do some carpentry stuff.
Yeah, nice.
So I made that. I've got the dining table there made by my carpenter and the steel legs just behind you. And I've just picked up that TV unit there. Yep. So this is going to be the dining area. I've got seats coming as well. This year I've painted all the walls, a section of it black. And I'm getting some wall strips put up, which is what the carpenter is doing in the rooms now.
Just to add a bit of character.
Wall panel in there, TV unit there, and then the TV will be mounted on the wall. Coffee table here. Oh, nice. So this is a shower, but it's a really old, crappy shower, so I'm kind of using that as storage for now. Because I think I'm probably going to use that as a maintenance cupboard, because there really isn't any, but there's enough showers and toilets. Watch your step here, the panels. This is bedroom number 1. This is room is going to be 650. It's a double room with an ensuite as well. Do you want to come through here? There is an ensuite. I'm corking in there now, so there's
yeah, nice. 650 with an ensuite.
650 with an ensuite.
That seems cheap.
Yeah, this at 650 is pretty much top end for Cardiff.
Okay. Paneling.
Yeah. So again, same thing here. I'm effectively going to be using the paneling as kind of like a headboard, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
The bed will just go slot in there. The paneling will go up, but a lot of the furniture in all the rooms are kind of like this. Colour furniture is all kind of like
standard student IKEA
it's all kind of fraying on the edges,
cheap.
Things like that. So it needs replacing.
Because, they're terrible.
You know, I'm advertising this as high end or high quality accommodation.
Landlords buy that because it's dead cheap.
So I again swap this desk out. I may not. It's a pretty good desk. It's nice tempered glass.
Yeah, I'd leave it. It's fit for purpose. It would go with the black.
Yeah, and I think that one will be okay. Yeah. So this number 1. Knock the light off.
6 more bedrooms to go.
Yeah, so number 2, another ensuite. Same thing again, black wall, just going to get the panels there.
Yep.
And then the other ensuite is just here.
Okay.
So I'm just going to get some more cork in the sealant back in there. But again, another nice waterfall shower there. This another 650. So both of these ensuites have already been reserved with a £100 reservation fee.
Yeah.
That's before they've even seen the rooms as well.
Yeah.
So I know the demand is there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good spec. You know?
A decent little white desk. That one will probably stay there. There's no visible damage and fraying and chips around it. So that one will stay. The chair will probably go. But again, another great room. Nice, good sized room there. This is then the shared bathroom and shower. Same thing again. Around there then is the boiler. Toilet there. Need to replace the seat that was broken. That will come from the previous tenant's deposit. And we'll go down to the kitchen next. So the kitchen is actually downstairs.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so it's quite narrow.
Any of it freshly painted?
Nothing freshly painted down here. No, you're all good, yeah. So well tiled throughout again.
Yeah.
Really nice floor. All nice smooth walls as well. So nothing really that needs to be done here. 2 fridges included. Microwave included, toaster included, 2 ovens,
Oh, perfect.
and 2 sinks.
Yep.
But 1 washing machine. This is the tricky part, is that there's 1 washing machine among 7 tenants, which is obviously very tight. It's not really doable. And when I was here doing the viewing, there were students here, and the drying racks and clothes were just scattered all over the living room on drying horses, which is no good. So what I want to try and get is a washer dryer, probably where this chair is, because where this pillar is, there's a gap there, which would be perfect, but because of the pillar, they can't open the door.
Yeah, I've had a 7-bed before, and how I structured it and the tenants, it worked quite well. It stopped complaints because everyone has a day.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. One day. Get it all done.
Washing day, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And then this
you could
other
even
area
stick
there.
their rotor up here.
Yeah. So I plan on getting like a little notice board there. There'll be a cleaning rota.
Yeah.
There'll be the Cardiff Council like bin schedules, things like that, recycling days and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'll get that
Yeah,
sorted.
it's a nice kitchen, bro. Yeah,
nice,
it's lovely spec.
Great cupboards.
Yeah.
You know, it's
again.
I gotta say, the landlord hasn't really spared much
chuck
expense.
room numbers on the cupboards.
Numbers on all the doors. Yeah,
it stops all complaints and.
I started buying a few bits as well. I've got like the cutlery sets and
Yeah.
dishes. I've got cooking sets,
nice.
things like that. So I've started buying all those little bits as well. But yeah, all in all,
Yeah, good
very,
hardware
very
on
happy
the
with
floor.
this.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's nice.
So to come through here now, we have a fully tiled bathroom.
Yep.
So
Nice.
again, with a shower, bath, toilet, sink.
Yep.
Happy days. Again, really great tiling throughout. Just need a reseal around the bath, but other than that,
Yeah, that's standard.
Great.
HMO, like
Yeah.
every single HMO I've done
yeah,
is resealed the bath.
yeah. All right, so we'll head up to the first floor. Oh, one thing I did get as well off your recommendation was
Inspire landlord. Yeah.
the Inspire Ignite
Yeah.
landlord thermostat, the
That will
gas
save,
engineer.
the first month.
Yeah.
You'll get your investment back on that.
The gas engineer has given me a quote for £200 to get this fitted and
Yeah.
installed, so
that's
I'll
what,
take that all day.
£450 investment.
Yeah.
In 2 months,
I
you'll
think it
get
was
that
maybe
back.
389 or 289, something like that. It's a pretty decent price. So more than happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to
that will
re-gloss
honestly
these
be so
banisters
worth
as
it.
well.
I'd just clean them.
Yeah, but things like this here, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's where you put your hand, come around the corner, it's
Yeah.
just worn off. So they are
Sugar soap.
paint
is
around
really
here,
good for
so
that. Sugar
careful,
soap.
so-
Have you ever heard of sugar soap?
yeah, sugar soap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
It's a nice bright room.
Nice bright room.
Yeah.
Walls have been painted, so be careful. Glosses are on the skirting boards.
I'm not touching anything.
Yeah. So yeah, this one is done with the paneling. I will probably oil the strips as well. I've got plenty of wood oil.
Yeah.
But a nice big double bed. Mattresses are like maybe a year old, something like that. So there's good mattresses.
Yeah.
The bed frames are not great, but that's going to be such an expense to replace all of those.
They're fit as long as it's fit for purpose and it doesn't
Yeah.
fall apart.
But there's
That's
things
fine.
like this desk, like all the edges are knackered. They're really bad.
Yeah.
And there's no storage in here. There's like a chest of drawers or nothing. That's going to be tricky. So it's something I will
So
have
is
to buy.
that what's that behind
There
the
is
door?
storage there. So there is
Oh, okay.
one
Yeah,
cupboard.
that's
It's actually
enough.
deeper than I expected,
that's-
to be
that's
honest.
enough.
No, that's A lot deeper than I expected.
Yeah, and they've got that down
and
there.
up the top too.
They've got that kind of bench for a bedside table.
Yeah.
Fine.
Great. Another toilet.
I mean, HMOs don't need to be service accommodation.
Of course, yeah.
So when you say about this, I know it's scruffy, but they won't care. It's a HMO.
So there's that. Come across. Again, great flooring throughout. Great walls. Nothing really to do there. Another room here. So all the double rooms will be 650. The two en-suites downstairs is, the two en-suites downstairs is 650. These double rooms here are 600. So again, don't even need to paint the walls. They're in good condition. If I did, it's a little bit tricky because the paint is like eggshell. It's not quite white.
Yeah.
So if I would have to paint one wall, I'd have to do the entire room. Yeah. You know, so I'm fortunate that they are in good condition. They don't really need repainting. So that's all good. But again, just this old janky furniture. This one is okay, shelving there. But again, this bed is going up where you are there against there. So that's fine too.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lovely bright room. Yeah.
Same again here, another double room. Panelling's done there, just haven't finished painting. I've painted the black bits, so what I've done Monday night is I stayed here overnight just to get the sections where the panelling is going painted. Then the rest of the walls can get painted at another time. So it's partially painted down there, just not fully done. Storage here, again, rail in there, plenty of storage too. I quite like these alcoves. And I think when the en-suites downstairs, there's a chest of drawers in there. Great, happy days. So maybe I can put something in there or just leave it empty. The tenants can put something in there themselves.
They will.
And we'll go over to the next room where my lovely mother is. Hello.
Has he got you working?
Yeah. So we blacked out this wall completely.
Yeah. Nice.
As a nice big feature wall. The panelling will go up just in that one alcove
Hello,
there.
you okay? I'm Kenny. Nice to meet you.
Again, another double room,
I love it when I see the family getting involved. Like,
my brother and my father here.
Yeah, it's a proper, like a business launch party.
Yeah, it is, it's great. So she's just doing some glossing around the skirting boards at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's it's going very well.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, and then just up to the loft room now. Pretty decent carpets again on the stairs. They just need a bit of TLC. Looks like the carpenter has just finished in here as well. This loft room is 575, just because it's a little bit smaller. Again, a nice double room. It's got a double bed. But
again, I think you can get more because there's no traffic walking past.
Yeah, it's great.
People love being like secluded on their own, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So
I agree. Yeah.
Pay for that.
Yeah, but the windows, there's two kind of bay windows.
Come on up, bro.
They need cleaning. But other than that, I'm getting the cleaners in end of the week anyway, so they'll get that sorted. But yeah, it's pretty much done and dusted. It's my carpenter, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
One of them.
Yes, one of them, yeah. But yeah, he's done a tremendous job. Just finished up this room now and it's looking great. With the rooms, a few of the rooms downstairs, the walls are concrete. So we can't use the pin nailer to pin straight into them. So what Matt's off to do now is that he's going to get a 6mm sheet of MDF.
I see.
Pin the panels.
Yeah.
They'll pin the strips to the big sheet of MDF
glue it up.
and then glue the entire thing up then. Otherwise, it's going to have to be like 3 screws with wall plugs in every, and that's going to be a wall full of holes. Yeah. So we're just going to go there. I've had to pay an extra £100 for that. But my carpenter, I actually started my woodworking business with my carpenter, not this guy Matt, but another carpenter, Anthony.
Yeah.
We started our woodworking business together when we were making resin tables, and we met at the timber yard looking for wood to make resin tables. And we kind of joked and said, it would be crazy if we could get a unit together because we were both in our garages.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, someone posted, one of my friends, that they were working on Star Wars, I think. And he had this big unit empty with all the tools, and I messaged Anthony. And we ended up sharing a unit together. So we kind of started our woodworking journey together, and we've just helped each other out here or there. And now I've done this. He was the first person I messaged to get in and do the carpentry work for me. So he's given me a tremendous price. So I'm getting all these walls panelled in all 7 bedrooms and the living room.
Yeah.
4 rustic scaffolding shelves and a dining table for £700.
Okay.
Happy days.
Yeah. Nice. Let's head back down to the living room then.
Yeah, of course.
Get the kettle on, I think.
Yes, I get the kettle on. Matt, do you want a brew?
Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah,
No problem.
All right.
So yeah, that pretty much concludes the property tour. I am making a full video myself. I think I'm currently at about 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Just doing it on my phone as I'm going along, kind of sequential.
Documenting your journey.
Documenting the whole journey. So if you want to take a seat or come down, it's up to you.
All right, Bray. Well, from the very top, how did you come across Rent to Rent?
Okay, so I came across Rent to Rent initially because I was trading Forex for a while. Had quite a bit of success with that. And I was like, if I can make this my full-time job, or if I can leave my full-time job and just do trading, and I'm getting all this money that I don't really have to work for, because I'd systemized it to a point where I'd need to do maybe like 15 minutes work a day. Not even, and that is like actual work, because there was a very particular setup. I kind of systemized it to a point where I could look at the chart, set an alert for a particular price level, and if it didn't get there, no trade that day, walk away, continue doing my day. And if that happens, what am I doing? I can't, I'm too kind of driven and determined to just sit in the house and do nothing. I like my off days, but I still like to be busy, be occupied. And I was like, my strategy is more off than on. It's a waiting game more than anything. You just wait for it, and then when it happens, press a few buttons and leave it alone, and it will do itself. You just leave it. So I needed something to do with my time. So I was like, what can I do with all this money? And property is something I've always been interested in. Okay. And kind of getting my hands dirty, doing renovations and things like that is something that's always appealed to me. So I started looking into property, doing BRRs, flips, and then eventually come across Rent to Rent. Yeah. And I thought, I like that.
Yeah. That's how it worked for me. Yeah. You come across all the strategies at once.
Yeah, effectively, yeah. And you just kind of like, and you deep dive into each of them, and then you kind of think, which do I like the most? Yeah. Which would I want to do? If I could do any of these.
Which best suits your budget, your lifestyle.
Yeah. And initially, it was going to be flips and BRRs, because I was forecast to make, stupid amounts of money. If you know anything about Forex, like when you get to a certain level, the money is ridiculous. Yeah. It's crazy. A lot of people think it is.
I tried Forex and I lost $3,000 in about 3 months.
Yeah, so I've lost that in a second. Yeah. Like literally, trading is crazy. The account sizes that I were trading were in the hundreds of thousands of pounds. Yeah. Right, they're massive accounts. And you generally trade 1 or 2%, and 1 or 2% of that is, £2,000 to £4,000, and with the volatility that can come with Forex, you can lose that in literally a second. Yeah. And I think, I've lost like $4,000 in under 5 minutes. Yeah. At times. Luckily, it's not my money, right? So the way I was trading was with what's called a prop firm or a proprietary firm, where you have to do a trading challenge. Okay. To get access to simulated capital. Yeah. But anything over the starting balance is profit that you get to keep 80% of. Yeah. And you put that through your limited company, and you're effectively a computer contractor. I guess you kind of demonstrate into a company how to use simulated software. So for like tax purposes and accounting and all, I'm just a contractor. Yeah. Same as any other self-employed person through a limited company, just a contractor. So I had the bank account set up. I had all of that.
So why step away from something like Forex and look at Rent to Rent?
The volatility, right? There's no stability with Forex. No. Yeah, you can predict kind of so much.
High risk, high reward.
It's high risk, high reward, and I wanted something a bit more consistent. Yeah. Which played later on into picking HMOs over SAs. Yeah. So I did like the Samuel Leeds £1 crash course, as everyone does, and I was just like, I knew.
I love the guy. He's opened many eyes to the industry, whether they joined him or not.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic. But I knew going there that I'm going to be upsold something at the end, and I kind of had that predisposition that I can get all this information for free. Same with trading. Yeah. I'm not going to spend a penny, and I only started trading to spite my brother. Because my brother had a friend that did Forex trading and withdrew like £200 in front of his face. And he said, I did this from pushing buttons on the computer. And he was just like, oh, man, this is amazing. And he signed up to this MLM Forex thing where you get taught education, really, but you get the money from recruiting other people into the program, right? So
that's what I fell into. The trap
and this is around the start of COVID, right, and lockdown.
Yeah, literally the same time. Yeah. That's where I fell into that trap.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not coming out of lockdown without a skill. So I started learning trading, despite my brother, because I was like, I know, because I work in IT, information is free if you know where to look. So I kind of just started going down the rabbit hole, YouTube and all the free resources. Yeah, so I was just like, I'm going to find all this information for free. You know, I'm going to wave this money in my brother's face and I'm going to laugh at him, say, you spent, you know, several £100 trying to get this, and I've done it for nothing. You know, I'm kind of OCD like that, where if I go into something, I kind of, you know, I really want to see it through.
Yeah, I think you need to be a bit gone in the mind.
A
bit, you know, entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. So that's kind of
slight arrogance, confidence.
Yeah, and I think I've got all of that type of stuff. I think every entrepreneur really has.
Everybody
that
on my
of,
program has.
Yeah,
you
got to have that kind of thing about you. But that's kind of where I got interested in property. Is that if I make all this money from trading, what am I going to do day to day?
Yeah.
Like as a day-to-day job, what do I want to do? If I've got financial freedom and I've got time freedom, what am I going to do with that time? What do I want to start a business? Do I want to just invest? And, you know, do I want to go on holidays? And, you know, I started looking into a lot of kind of financial advice on what to do if you've got money, put it in the S&P and this and that. And I went down crypto, big mistake, lost a lot of money there. So that was fun. And then I kind of landed on rent to rent. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Let's start looking, because this is now a business you can start with very little capital. Yeah. As opposed to having, you know, 25% for a buy-to-let deposit, something like that.
To make £600 profit.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was like, okay, that's out the window. I started maybe looking at deal selling as well. Yeah. Again, lower barrier, but no money down, because a lot of these property kind of gurus
Actually,
and mentors,
a lot of people get not confused, but they're misled. So start up a compliant deal sourcing business.
A few thousand.
Costs about £1,500.
Yeah.
Where starting up a rent-to-rent business is about £300.
Yeah.
The big difference.
Yeah, I definitely found that you know, a lot of buzzwords that are used in the industry, you know, things like no money down and
doesn't exist.
You know, you can get a no money down deal. But to get the deal, you have to have the compliance already. Yeah, so
exactly. You can pull out your initial investment. You have to invest to do that strategy.
Because you can get like a free house and things like this.
It's just clever marketing, like no money down strategy.
Yeah, and I think also rent to rent is also another buzzword marketing thing, because what rent to rent is just a lease agreement, and they've been around since the start of time. It's not new. It's just been given a new phrase to draw new people in, because it's the lowest barrier to entry. Is where everybody that looks into property is going to look, because it's the lowest money you need to start. And it's the same with Forex, and I've learned so much with my mindset through Forex, like you wouldn't believe. It's completely rewired my brain. Because you can't have emotion with trading, right? The number one killer of any trader is emotion, right? So I am practically emotionally void, you know, which is good and bad. Depends on who you ask. For me, it's pretty good, because I see things very analytically.
Yeah, it's good.
And I problem solve a lot of things. But if you ask my partner, maybe having no emotion is not great. Getting back to rent, so like everyone else, took the lowest hanging fruit with property and rent to rent. So I just went down that rent to rent rabbit hole on YouTube and looking at all courses and mentorships and all the free stuff that I can. I'm same with everyone.
Yeah, you want to really find out, is this something you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, and you start looking into it, and you watch so many videos that people have got these rent to rents that they're doing essays, and they're getting $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, you know, $50,000 a month, you know, for the more established people. But it's, you know, it's crazy. But and
so how did we connect?
So YouTube effectively is how I come across you. Going down that YouTube rabbit hole, you research enough, you come across everyone in the space, right? You just start looking at the same topics but worded differently. R2R instead of rent to rent, R2R, R2R SA, R2R, rent to rent service, all the different terms, and then prefaced with something else specific, like an area, South Wales, England, anything like that. And then I come across yourself on YouTube, and I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
This guy is pretty much...
No bullshit.
Yeah, no bullshit, straight down the line. right? And a lot more of the kind of day-to-day stuff. The Fontaine brothers also were another big one for me.
Yeah, I
love those guys.
Brothers.
Because they documented start to finish, right? What a lot of people don't do is the whole start to finish, the nitty-gritty, going into the details of like buying this furniture over that furniture, going around the shop and making those split-second decisions of I'm choosing that over that because of this. You know, little things like that. Sleeping in the property, documenting it properly start to finish, not just here's my finished HMO, I'm making X amount of months.
People want to know the bad stuff.
It's the bad stuff.
Not just the good stuff.
A lot of people like to, and it's same with trading. Again, everything I refer back to trading most of the time because there's so many similarities. People like to show your wins in Forex, same with property, anything, because you like to show people that you're doing well, you're being successful, right? So you glamorize all the good stuff and not so much the bad stuff. Whereas I connected more on YouTube with the people that were showing the bad stuff as well, you know, the transparency of doing the bad stuff.
If a client joins me and signs up to something that was sold the dream, and then they come across hardship, they're going to be derailed and demoralized. Where if I'm very transparent, like this is how it is, you know what to expect, and you do the work.
Yeah, and
okay. So when we connected on YouTube, what happened next?
So I started looking at all sorts of mentorships. What is included in them? How big are the mentorships? One thing I didn't want to do, like with say, like go in the standard, go with like Samuel Leeds, or I think Touchstone is another one. Go in with those bigger providers. Is that you kind of get lost in the crowd,
100%.
right? And you get all the online training, and every time, same with trading again, any kind of mentorship and training, you get sold one thing, and when you pay the money and join, it's not quite what you expected it to be. Right, and I did that with a few trading courses. It wasn't quite exactly what I wanted. Right, so I wanted something that was a bit more personal. Right, and then when I started watching your videos and I joined the Facebook group, and I was like, okay, this is a lot more personal. This is a bit more direct contact. I can ask a particular question and I'll get it answered. You know, that type of thing. I've got a direct line of communication effectively with the person that's done it. And can tell me, so I can avoid making those same mistakes that, whatever I'm coming across, I'm stuck on this or that. Or do I need that compliance here, or do I not need that? Just the minor little things like that.
It's in the nitty gritty.
It's the nitty gritty, but if you don't pay attention to them, that's it. It's detrimental. The mistakes with property are so big. Like the little things that you think, it's just a bit of paper.
The amount of people I speak to, and even book calls with me, and at the end of the call, they're like, I'll think about it, or I'll let you know. I'm going to give it a go on my own, and I'm just like, that's like learning to drive a car with no instructor. Good luck. You are going to crash because it's the nitty gritty.
Of course. So I kind of spent all of the time absorbing all the free stuff to the point where I was like, okay, I can't
find a bad thing about this guy.
I can't find the bad stuff. There's no. But property as a whole as well, not you particularly.
I think that's why people follow me enough. It's like, what is wrong with this guy? Why am I not joining him?
It got to the point where I know I've absorbed all the free information, and now I'm just going round in circles. I need to take action now.
It's good you recognise that.
I'm very, and again, it comes back to trading and how it's massively. I can't underestimate how massively my mindset has shifted from learning Forex, because I was taking it so seriously. This was it for me. This is the exit of my full-time job and the rest of my life, financial freedom, time freedom, all of it. This is the key. So I have to take it seriously. I got the limited company set up, did it all right, got the bank account. Mindset is the most important thing with anything, and self-education and things like that.
It's all 95%. Even rent to rent, it's 95% mindset.
I'm so
action,
self-critical and holding myself accountable. You've got to notice minor things, particularly with trading and things like that. You've got to think, why did that trade not work out, right? What was I thinking at the time? How was I feeling? Was I anxious? Did I hesitate? Anything, right? You need to be able to really dive deep into your kind of psyche and think, if a computer was doing this, would it have been the same result? Probably not, right? So it's emotion. So I've had to suppress those emotions. With the big wins and the big losses, it's the same. And that's transferred over to my life and how self-analytical I am. And how I hold myself accountable for everything.
that's good.
Everything is my fault. I'm sure it's something
Yeah.
you've said.
It's-
Like everything is my fault.
Yeah, who said it? It was someone very wise. Basically said, you become mature when everything becomes your fault.
Yeah. You just hold yourself accountable
yeah.
for anything that's happening immediately around you.
Yeah,
Is a
your fault.
product of your actions or your
Exactly.
words. Like, that's something that you've caused.
Exactly.
Which has helped massively with my maturity in relationships. And I don't have fights with my partner at all, because I know if she's coming to me, whether she's hot and fiery, you know, she will come at me. But I know if she's coming at me, she's not doing it for nothing, right? I've got to really listen to what she's saying and think, what is she saying and why is she saying it?
Yeah.
There's something that I have obviously done, and I need to
It's always obviously
hold myself
something you've
accountable
done.
for it. Yeah, always, right? And I was a lot for the longest time, you know, I had a bit of an ego, and I was just like, I'll do whatever I want. You know, I'm doing this. You can't tell me to do this or that, or say this or say that. You know, but I just kind of realized, you're only going to come to a resolution if I accept my blame, right? And I say, that was me. How do we resolve this now? What is it that you need, you know, for me to make this better?
Exactly.
And that plays a part with everything now, you know, in rent to rent and all that type of thing. So I needed to make the decision to pay, right? Because I was at the point then where I'd stopped my woodworking because I couldn't afford the rent for the unit, because the carpenter that I was sharing the unit with moved units. So I was left to pay all of the rent because we were splitting the unit half and half. I couldn't afford to stay there, so I ended up selling all my tools, moved my remaining stuff in with his new unit so I could keep them there. And then I had a handful of tools left over, and I was using those tools to just do the odd jobs here and there. Just a bit on the side, because I also work full-time as well, as an IT professional.
You stumbled across me, you looked into mentorship, you've been following me a long time now, it was time to take action. What happened next?
So firstly, I needed to get my finances in order, right? So I needed to streamline, and this is when I started speaking to you on Facebook, right? I was like, okay, I'm interested, you know. I learnt your story and kind of how you need to get your finances in order at the start and things like that. And I was like, okay, any advice, things like that. And he was just like, effectively just cut down on everything as much as you can, right? So I streamlined everything. So all the tools I had left in my unit, sold them.
Yeah.
Other than like that sander over there, which I use because that will make me money in my other job.
Yeah.
I've got a little side business doing kitchen restorations. So I've kept that sander because the profit margins are crazy good. I can maybe spend 30 quid on a big pack of discs and charge £500 to finish a kitchen. It takes me maybe 4 hours. Yeah. So the profit margins are phenomenal, really good. So that sander has paid for itself like 5 times. It's really great. So I sold all those tools, right? And I started accumulating the money, cut down on my expenses and things like that.
Yeah.
Until I had enough money then to pay for the mentorship. And I thought, it's still not quite enough. Let me check my credit card. Looked at it and there was like a £3,000 limit on it. I was like, oh fuck, okay, that's not enough. Then I saw there was an option to extend it, and I extended it to £5,000, and I was like, happy days. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it was making that decision now. This is it, right?
Yeah.
If I'm doing this, because for the longest time trading was my route out.
Yeah.
Rent to rent was the day-to-day business that I wanted to do after the fact.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'd set my property business up in March 23, and opened a limited company.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know I want to do it, and I want to get a name registered, because I've got a brand, Coedwig, right, which means forest in Welsh. That's my brand. I've got Coedwig Creations, Coedwig Capital, Coedwig Estates.
Okay.
That's the brand, and there will be a Coedwig Group or Holdings or something like that eventually. So I just wanted to get that name registered, and I did that. And then I did nothing for a year, practically.
Yeah.
Right? I had it set up, and I was like, I know I want to do it, but I wanna do the trading first. And I was dead set on doing that, and I did end up making a bit of money, but I lost most of it in crypto.
Yeah.
Right? Big mistake there, lesson learned. But I had it set up because I was like, yeah, that's definitely, I'm gonna do that. And then it was just pretty much non-stop education in property, right? From March 23 to March 24. And it was early March 24 where I said to you, right, this is it. Let's book a call. Got the call booked
What was
in.
the turning point then? What? Because
The turning point was I watched a video on this massive hedge fund trader in like hedge fund trading and like investment bank trading. He's like a god practically, right? He's like incredible. And he had this long YouTube video from like maybe 10 years ago, something like that, as like a university lecture, talking to students that were looking to get into investment banking and trading for investment banks. And he talked about the reality of it, what it's really like to be a trader on the trade floor. And he effectively showed a graph of where all the information comes from, right? Because all the free education is usually some kind of ploy to get you interested. You know, it's free information, but it will get you onto some kind of platform or to spend money in some way, shape or form. Right. So all those kind of low-hanging fruits and things like that, you know, about on YouTube when you look into trading, there's all these different buzzwords. Same with free property stuff. It's a lot of buzzwordy type stuff. No money down and rent to rent and how financial freedom in a month, a day, a week, you know, little things like that.
Nothing realistic.
No, right. It's achievable with the right information, but to get that information, you need education, and education costs a lot of money. So it's never no money down. There's a lot of similarities between the two. Right. Because eventually all of it leads to some kind of education provider where they provide a course or content or something like that they pay for.
So what did that video trigger in you?
That opened my eyes because he laid out how it's all rigged. The entire financial system is rigged against you to lose because all the information comes from it rattled me to my core. I went home that day, my blood was boiling. My partner was like, "You're on one. I can see it. You know, I can." And I was just like, I was rattled because I'd spent practically 4 years really learning trading and getting this dead set strategy, which it does work, but again, it's very high risk, high rewards, very temperamental, and it's never guaranteed. Even if you've got a proven strategy that works, which I had, and I've got a massive track record of great wins consistently. You just never know, right? And a lot of the strategies change buzzwords frequently, right? There's one called SMC, which is smart money concepts, which effectively is called smart money because you're trading the same way the banks trade. So it's kind of marketed like this is the only way, right? And it's very clicky, right? Very culty when you get a strategy that's a particular way. It's like that's the only way to trade. If you trade another way, you're a broker.
Yeah, I mean,
right? You know,
there's other mentors that have come up with clicky ways, like unique property approach in leasing. And
but if you traded any other way, you were wrong, effectively, and people swore by that. And there are quite a few of these different ones, and it was very culty.
Okay,
you know,
so
like,
that
kind of
annoyed
like
you
clubs.
enough to book a call and change strategy.
Yeah, so I was just like, my strategy. So really, the real changing point after watching that video, right, is then I saw a new buzzword pop up, right, and my strategy that I was trading, I noticed I was getting frequent losses in a row. Which for my strategy really happened and I've tested over years of data. So I noticed this change in the market because I'm checking these charts every day, religiously, right? Because that strategy at that time was very time intensive. You have to what is like a 5-minute chart, so every new candle of data is 5 minutes. So I'm watching it intensely, only for maybe an hour, 2 hours. In the morning at like the London Open, right? The London Stock Exchange Open, and I looked for particular manipulation around that time, and swings in price, things like that, and then it stopped working. And relating that to that video of that guy saying how all these strategies they come from the big, massive, you know, investment banks and central banks that are trading hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. They provide the information, and it's a chain that goes down. Where until it gets to YouTubers, effectively, that have affiliate links to brokers. So if you watch their video, which is free on YouTube, and it's a particular way to trade, and they teach you how to trade that way, you then join their mentorship, but they have an affiliate with a broker that you open a trading account with them, so he gets paid there, But all that information comes from the top.
What a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So
Yeah. I mean, with rent to rent, you're in full control, aren't you?
yeah,
With Forex, you're not in control.
you're not,
You
right?
know, this is tangible. You have
Yeah.
the keys, you have the lease
Exactly.
agreement.
So that was the changing point for me, was noticing that my trading style was not working. And pairing that with the timing, with seeing the markets physically changing in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
And knowing that the information that's being provided is coming from the top, because the real smart money, the big investment banks, they are giving you this information because we are dumb money, right? We are liquidity for them, right? So when they need to make these massive changes in price for the economy, to price in anything like elections or anything like that, they need liquidity to exit their positions, because it's all just buying and selling at particular prices. So they will manipulate the price and have these huge pushes in prices, called like an impulse, right? A big impulse, either up or down, to gather liquidity where all the dumb money is. Retail traders, which is a retail trader is anyone that's not an investment bank, really, a massive, multi-billion-dollar company.
So have you put Forex completely gone?
No, I've not written it off completely, because I know it does work. I know it works, and I know I've got the mindset to really make it work.
But is rent to rent the priority now?
Yes, so that was sidelined. So originally, rent to rent was sidelined for that.
Yeah.
I've now, and I never thought I'd get to the position where I'd swap rent to rent for trading.
Yeah, okay.
I never thought that would happen.
So obviously we jumped on a call.
Yeah.
You joined.
And I was like, okay, yeah.
I
I know when you pay attention.
100%.
Right? It's commonly said, but it's very true.
It is true.
And I gathered all the information that I could, all the free stuff, and I started doing little viewings here and there.
Yeah.
But I had no clear direction, because I hadn't had the formal education.
There's loads of different structures all over YouTube, and people try and piece it together, but you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Every other mentor will have a different technique with the tactics.
Yep.
The structure should be the same. Find a property, use a lease agreement, be compliant, but it's all the tactics.
Yeah. The biggest tripping point for me with the free information was contracts.
Yeah.
I couldn't, and I even messaged several people on your mentorship before I joined.
Yeah.
To get company let agreements.
You should have just messaged me, bro.
And I was I looked everywhere, any kind of free resource, you name it.
Everyone's afraid of messaging me.
I messaged so many people, and I was like, I'm just starting in rent to rent. I was wondering if you'd be able to share a copy of your company let agreement, just so I can review it, redact it, take any information out, personal stuff. I just want to see the structure, what it's like, what is included. Because I know from watching all these videos that there are particular clauses that you should include that are not in like a standard company let agreement that a solicitor could write, which might cost you £1,000, which I did have quoted, and it was about £1,000. So I was like, I need something from someone that has already done it, that has all those nitty gritty, finer points, like one little extra term in the contract that protects you for a break clause after 12 months or before 12 months, or so that the landlord can't terminate the contract within the first 12 months, but after, then that's fine, with 2 months notice. Force majeure, in case there's another pandemic or epidemic, or an act of war, God, or terrorism, or flood, or anything like that, add that in. That's something that from the contract I had from you, I added in, because that wasn't in it, and I used ChatGPT, and I was like, here's my contract. What can I add to this that would further protect me as a company at doing rent to rent with a lease option with a landlord, and I'm doing this, and I effectively explained to ChatGPT what it is exactly that I'm doing and what extra clauses I could add, and just use them as suggestions. I didn't use all of them, just one or two. That force majeure one, just added that in for extra protection.
Yeah, I mean, then, from the moment you joined, you just took action. Massive action taker. Yeah. For me, it's night and day. If someone joins, well, I don't really onboard people that aren't the type of client we want to work with.
Yeah. Because it's going to reflect you at the end of the day.
It does, and it's not.
If they fail,
it's not even that. It's not even that. It's the hassle that comes with it. They blame us for the lack of results because they don't take the action, and they don't get the result. They put in bank disputes. Then I've got to go down that. And it's effort, but I only on board
as well. They could say, it doesn't work. I joined the mentorship. He wouldn't give me a refund, or So I get it. I get that. Makes sense.
But Okay, so yeah, you took massive action. It was just
Yeah.
a matter of time, wasn't it?
So
how many phone calls do you think you made before you got your first deal?
250. I've
Yeah,
got it in my
pretty much.
I've got it in my call notes.
Mine was 244.
Yeah, literally, I've got it in my call notes. I literally every day.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
well
got it
done.
all
Mine
in
was
my
244. What's hilarious is I get quite a lot of messages like, hey, you know, am I doing something wrong? I've made many phone calls. And I say, you know, how many phone calls have you made? Oh, I don't know. I don't count. Well, have a guess.
Yeah.
Is it over 100? No. Is it over 50? No, definitely not. Is it 20?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you've done 2 days effort.
Yeah.
And you're writing off this business model.
Yeah.
You've done 2 days effort.
Yeah. So prior to actually starting, I went and played a game of pool with my brother. And I started talking to him about you. I was like, I've come across this guy. He's great. And, you know, I've seen his success. I've also seen his mentees' success. I've spoken to them personally. And double checked it, you know, triple checked everything is what it is. It is legit, you know, and all these things, because I'm very skeptical. I want to do everything
so
for
was
free.
I, whereas I thought,
You know,
all of the mentees of my old mentor was on commission, or they're being paid to say this, or it's fake results.
Yeah. And I started talking to him about it because he's in the army and he's saved up a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about it because I've had other businesses as well that have been successful. I was like, this is the one. And he knew about my trading. He knew the success I've had in that. And he was just like, oh, focus on that. And I was like, it's too temperamental. It's nothing as secure like property is secure. Yeah. Right. So this is what I want to do. Yeah. And I was like, okay, let's go. Would you consider doing half and half with me? Like, I'll pay the money for the mentorship. Would you be willing to give me the money for the renovations and getting the deal and setting up the company, you know, the rest of the money effectively, right? Anything else. And I spoke to you several times about how much money, like really though, I know you're saying it's going to be X amount of money, like to get a deal. Yeah. But realistically, you know, how much is it actually going to cost me?
Yeah. So what did I tell you?
I think about £5,000. You said you can pretty much get a full everything done for £5,000. I was like, but is that a deal? Or is that set, because I know I've set up a company before. Yeah. I know all the paperwork and things, they all cost money. Yeah. Is that £5,000 for just the renovations? Yeah. Or was that just furniture?
And what did I say to you?
You said landed all in 5,000.
Yeah, all in. And has this property been all in? I know this is a 7-bed.
Yeah, no, this has cost me, I think I've got, so I'll preface that with I explained to my brother, I want to pay this money for the mentorship. Okay.
We're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Rewind.
I'll pay for the mentorship. Can you give me the money? Then I started really going into each individual bit, right? And I made a list of everything that I'm going to need to buy. Yeah. All the compliances, setting up the company, PRS, ICO, all the things.
So this is prior to joining me?
This was, just prior to joining, right? So I watched your videos loads and loads of times, and a few others as well. Yeah. And really got the finer points to get the company set up and compliant before even getting a deal. Yeah. And I made a list. And I watched the video back, paused it, wrote it down, skipped it forward, wrote it down. Like any kind of little mention of anything. And I watched it from so many different sources to make sure I've got all the points. Yeah. Again, trying to get all this information free first. Yeah. To the point where I was like, I need contracts, and that's going to be like £1,000, £1,500. Or I could join the mentorship, get everything, and the mentorship and the one-to-one and all of that. So I ended up doing that. Yeah. I then, once I laid it all out to my brother, I was like, look, that £5,000, Kenny said, it will cover everything. But what if there is something unforeseen that pops up? Which guaranteed there will be. Nothing ever just goes perfectly exactly the way you planned. I need a contingency. And I maxed out my credit card, paying for the course. And I had, just my standard wage coming in after that. So I had a little bit extra, but not much. Yeah. Not enough, right?
I was exactly the same. I spent 6 months saving up £3,000. Yeah. That all went to a mentor. Yeah. For 3 months mentorship. So I was straight back down to zero. Yeah. So I was just like, I'm going to make it work. Yeah. I'll sell everything. I'll get rid of Amazon. Yeah. Get rid of Netflix. Get rid of Spotify. Just every single pound.
So I knew my brother had a lot of savings. Being in the army, he buys designer clothes and things like that. But other than that, other than the odd kind of retail spend like that,
I've seen a picture of your brother the other day.
Yeah.
Identical twins.
Practically, yeah. He's a few years younger than me, but he's the better looking one. I knew he had a lot of money saved, right? So I was like, look, and he was due to go to Estonia, I believe, or Germany, right before the mentorship started.
Okay.
I paid for the mentorship now, and I was like, look, you know, you have agreed, we've shaken hands, like, you will give me £5,000.
Yeah.
And now I've got the nod from him, and that he will give me the money. He hasn't yet, but he said yes. That point, on that same day, after playing pool, maybe in the evening, because I'd had the call with you, paid
Done.
for it, done.
Yeah.
Or maybe the day after, you know, we called them and paid.
Yeah.
On the spot, done. So I was like, okay, this is it. This is like the start of March, maybe just coming, maybe like the 10th to 15th, about mid, just coming in to the end of the first half of March, about that time. So I was like, okay, I'm all in. I know he's due to go now, any day. So I said to him, look, I've paid for the mentorship, it's done, right? So this is happening.
It's happening.
Like, I pulled the trigger, the toothpaste is out the tube, right? It didn't
Give me the money.
Yeah, it's not going back in. Give me the money. Yeah. I need that money. Like, I've got the company bank account. I literally, here's my details, send them.
Yeah.
And I message him, is it done? I'm like, I need the money. It's got to start. Because I've got to get the compliances and all the things. Like, I've got to get them all. Like, it starts now. And I was like, look, I although Kenny have said £5,000 will do it, what if there's this golden deal, right? That is so good and I can't pass it up and I just don't have the money for it. And it'll make me X amount of money, you know, we'll be laughing. I'll pay you back, I mean, all of these things, you know. So I managed to get him to give me 10 grand instead of 5.
Yeah, okay.
And he said, look, I'm staying in the army for another 4 years just so you can do this. Because I believe in you and I know you will make this work. I know the way you've spoken.
Nothing but pressure.
Yeah.
You know, the pressure of that will make you very successful.
And I'm just like, this is it. Like, because I had this same mindset that this is it with trading, to the point where I realized that it fluctuates so much that there is never a guarantee. But I know there's a guarantee with property. If you just apply yourself correctly and just keep doing what I've been told to do from the mentorship, watch the course, do it, right?
Yeah.
The support is there.
Yeah.
Right? Just follow the guidance and it will work.
Yeah.
And I explained it all and he said, yeah, okay. I'm
Once
due to go away.
Once you've had coaching and you get a result and you get a return on investment, you're sold on mentors.
Yeah.
So in the space of 3 years, I spent £3,000 on my first mentor. That was the most painful amount of money. Yeah. I was very excited, but so painful to spend it. Since then, I've spent 101,000 on mentors. So you joined, started taking action, 250 phone calls,
250
secured this deal.
Yeah, so the process with that, right, I was just calling agents, and I've recorded this. This is all on my Instagram, you know, all the calls I was making. I've done a few live calls as well, and posted them.
Put your Instagram handle in the description, so be sure to go to the description. I uploaded
all
Instagram
of it.
handle.
And I've just documented everything, like I created some Python scripts for automating the direct to vendor letter process. So I don't have to manually do each one. I've created the script and I've got a letter template, and then it just takes from the HMO register, which I'll get into this now, right? But takes the address from the HMO register, exports it onto the Word document. So I've just got like curly brackets name. Yeah. And then the script reads the name, takes the information, replaces it, and creates a new document for everyone in that list.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, happy days. You know, I can get all of these done. I've got a massive list ready to go.
Okay, so you sent out a load of letters?
What happened with that was I spent maybe £200 on stamps. Yeah. Sent out all the letters and I got no responses. And I thought, why isn't this working? Why is this not working? This seems really strange. And I spoke to another guy that is doing rent to rent in Wales. And he's like, mate, what a rookie mistake. What a rookie mistake. You've sent all those letters to the HMO addresses. Yeah. Not the landlord address. That's the problem. He said, what you've done is you sent the letters to the address where the tenants are living, and I guarantee you they've just binned them. They've thrown them in the bin.
They stockpile in the gas cupboard.
And I was thinking, oh, it's the landlord's property. If the agent goes there, they'll see it and they have to give it to the landlord legally. That was my assumption.
Yeah, legally they do,
Yeah.
but the tenants just chuck it all into the
So I was like, oh,
electricity cupboard.
Yeah. So I never got a single reply. And I sent maybe, like 200 letters, something like that, 150 letters.
Yeah, okay. So what did you do going on from then?
So I've not touched direct vendor letters yet.
Yeah.
Right,
The only
until
way
I
to
get
do it is get the landlord's
land
home
registry,
address,
right?
but each property, each landlord is £9.
Yeah.
And it's a
not-
very expensive way to do
Yeah,
it.
it is, yeah.
It's not worth it.
I did a bit of a deep dive on Google and I managed to find an old pre-GDPR HMO register that has the landlord's name and their private address
Okay.
on there. So
Yeah.
that I've got that list ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's maybe about 200 properties on it, something like that. It's not like Cardiff list.
Oh,
where
so
there's
you've
like-
got that list ready to go. You haven't explored it.
I haven't yet,
Oh, so you
because-
didn't secure this property from.
No.
Okay. So how did you come across?
I come
this
across
property?
this by making phone calls,
Yeah.
right? It was just one of the many I were on, like open rent. I found
Yeah.
this particular one. It was up for 3,100, and it was new. The agent was new as well, so
Yeah.
it's like a new agent profile, new property. So
Yeah.
they put it on open rent. They've created an open rent profile,
Yeah.
just for this property practically.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, the pictures look decent. That looks good. Let me call them. And I didn't know at this point if he was a landlord or an agent. I assumed landlord because it was on open rent.
Yeah.
That's generally where landlords go. And it was under a personal name, not a company name. So
Yeah,
again, I
okay.
thought, okay. Sent the message. And I know I don't generally use keywords like
No,
company
it's the tax-
and things like
yeah.
that in
You
open
gotta be
rent. So I
careful on
always
open
say,
rent.
I love this property. It's perfect for what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I've just got a few questions. Here's
Can we
my
hop on
number,
that?
and it
Yeah.
does prompt you, don't
Yeah.
include person. But
So you followed the script.
yeah. And I just said, here's my number. Please give me a call to discuss. Chatted on the phone, and he said, okay, yeah. I think he was familiar with it. And he's like, okay, yeah, let's book a viewing.
Yeah.
And I was like, happy days.
Yeah.
And I'd already had like a million rejections by this point anyway, but I've had a few, and I've been on a few viewings anyway.
Yeah. It's
prior
just
to
nice
this.
to get those
Yeah.
viewings in and keep the.
I had an
pipeline-
offer in
keep
for a
the
property in
pipeline happy.
Swansea that I've still not heard back from, so it's probably not going to happen now. But
Sometimes it can. One of my
it
deals,
might. But
One of my deals took 5 months to get over the line.
the offer is still there if they want it, and I'll take it on. In a few months' time after this is all settled.
Yeah.
That will be fine.
Okay, so you viewed it.
I come and I viewed it. The tenants were still here. There's uni students.
Yeah.
They were a group of 7, all came in all at once. They were only there for a year.
So how did the property look?
So the sofas were in the same place here. There was a fish tank in the corner there. They had a few frames up on the wall. You can see the holes there. We walked through here, and there was this janky old coffee table, TV here with a glass.
Yeah. But
TV
was it like a
stand.
typical looking studio mess everywhere?
There were drying racks with clothes
all over
everywhere.
it, yeah.
There was like 5 bikes in the corner.
What were the bedrooms like? Were they just clothes on the floor?
I couldn't
drawn?
get in them. There was so
none
much
of
stuff
them?
on the floors. You'll see this in the video when it's overlaid. You'll see it, right? There was so much stuff on the floor. I could barely walk in most of the
Yeah,
rooms.
that's standard.
There was rugs everywhere, but clothes everywhere.
Yeah, that's
mainly,
standard.
right? Yeah,
It's crazy how
standard.
messy they are.
Yeah. To the point where the 2 en suites, I didn't know there were showers in there because I couldn't get in there, right? They were, I assumed, and I put this in my fake ad, toilet only. Because I could not get in there. Toilet only en suite, right? Obviously there were other showers and things, so I said there's loads of facilities anyway.
Yeah.
But there's like 2 showers, a bath with a shower as well, so there's loads of facilities anyway, right? But I could not get in the en suites because there was so much mess on the floor. So I assumed they were toilet only en suites, being that there's already a shower there, and a bath downstairs with a shower, and another 2-3 separate toilets. I thought there's no way the shower's in there as well. There's no way.
Yeah.
So a toilet and a basin. There's no way there's going to be a shower. And only Monday I found out actually there's 2 showers here as well in the en suites.
Yeah.
So I was like, happy days.
Okay. So going on from the viewing, going home, how did you come across? How did you go about making your offer?
So firstly, I was like, well, this property is in fantastic condition.
Yeah.
Very well tiled throughout. The walls are smooth. There's no Artex and swirly ceilings, and I don't have to rip wallpaper off every wall.
Yeah.
Let me put in an offer. We'll see what happens. I put in, so it was advertised for £3,100 through the deal calculator. I plugged in all the figures. I took the average from the spare room.
The correct way of doing it.
Yeah, the proper way, right? I've forecasted my figures. It was about 550 is average rent for a bedroom, all bills included in this area. And this area, Cathays, is very student heavy. It's like student central. Cathays is like, and it's known as that. You know, it's perfect. It's perfect. The uni's close and things. Perfect. It's perfect, right?
So how quick did you make your offer? How proactive?
Made that offer the same day.
Yeah, good.
On viewing. Yeah, good. So I viewed it and I put in the offer and I said, look, I spoke to the guy.
What was your offer? What was the figure?
So my offer was £2,550.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the agent, literally standing here at the door as we were leaving, and I said, look, I'm not going to be funny. This is a business. You know, I'm not a normal tenant. This is the company. And he already knew what it was about. Yeah. And they've had similar agreements with other people as well. Yeah, so put in the offer, and I explained to him effectively, the offer is the offer. Yeah. Right? I'm coming in with my max offer. Yeah. I said, I've already got offers in. I've got more viewings booked for the next few days.
So you took my strategy. Yeah. Because I know my coaches teach different ways. Yeah. My strategy is just get on the ladder.
Yeah, I just said, look, the offer is the offer. I know you're busy. Yeah. I'm busy, right? I've got such little time. My time is more valuable than anything to me, more than money, right? Okay. Like, so the offer is the offer. Yeah. There is no movement on it.
Yeah, that's good.
And he's like, I respect that. I get it. You know, and we got on really well. Yeah, he knew I'm no bullshit. I'm straight down the line. It is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So you made the offer.
Made the offer, and I didn't hear anything for a few days. So I called the office and I said, and I'd not been to the office at this point, I said, look, I work in Newport, which is like maybe 15-20 minutes away. I said, look, it's on my way home. Is there any chance I can just pop into the office and speak to you in person? It doesn't have to be particularly about the property. I just know that you're into property personally as well. I just want to have a chat, see what you're doing. You know, it's just kind of like an after work informal thing. And he's like, yeah, come on down, no problem. And just prior to that, he got back to me on WhatsApp and he said, that offer's rejected. Yeah. He said, this is too low, they can't do it. Okay. And I was like, oh, okay, look, let me come down anyway. I wanted to come down anyway. Let's just have a chat. Yeah. Maybe there's something else you might have, you know,
take whatever. Rejection on the chin. Next.
I said, it's fine, no problem. Don't worry about it. I just want to have a chat. You seem really interesting. I'd love to meet the other guys as well. Yeah, okay. Let's just have a chat. And he said, yeah, come down. You know, I'll finish for the day. So we had a chat, and I said, look, I really like you guys. I really like you. We get on. We're all young, right? We get on very well. We're all kind of of the same mindset. I would never do this. Never do this. But I will revise my rental offer. And I just prior to leaving the office, I rerun the numbers, and I upped it a little bit. So I ended up putting in an offer for 2,740.
Why did you do that?
Because I knew how good this property is.
Did you know the area?
I know the area.
Did you know you can get a higher rent?
I know I can get a higher rent.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right? The offer I put in was
based off
was a reserved, a conservative 550. Yeah. But I know that they are, because I know other people doing rent to rent. They are getting higher.
Yeah, well, you've secured 4 rooms.
Yeah.
And you've not finished a refurb.
And
yeah, okay. So you revised the offer.
Yeah, I revised the offer, and I said, look, I'd never do this, but I'll come up to 2,740. Yeah. Within a few hours, he said, just very informally, as I was chatting to the owner of the agency, he said, oh yeah, by the way, that offer's been accepted by, you know, blah blah blah, and he just said it like it was nothing. But to me, this is everything. Like, this is everything.
Business.
But he's just like kind of threw it in mid-sentence, like, oh yeah, you did say it was fine, you know, and he's happy to accept that. But you know,
2,740.
2,740, yeah.
Yeah. And what would this profit?
This is the tricky bit, right? Because I spoke to you, I spoke to Dan, I spoke to a few people in this area as well about utility prices. Yeah. And I've spoken to the utility provider yesterday, right? And I've got all that paid, like the direct debit sorted and all for that, right? So I forecasted £500. Yeah. Gas and electric, right? £70 water, £186 council tax, because I was going to do students, which is no council tax, which would have given me even more profit.
The thing is, the landlord has to apply for that, not you.
Yeah,
which essentially they're giving you the property because they don't want students in it.
Yeah. So I was looking at like £1,200 profit with students.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is fantastic. And that's why I messaged you. I was like, yeah, £1,200 profit. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, this is mental.
Yeah.
Then I started speaking to the agents a bit more, speaking to you and Dan a bit more, and I started revising the things, the prices for the rooms, tweaking it from like 600 to 650 or 575 to 625, changing it for each individual room rather than having like 600 for all the rooms.
Yeah.
650 for the en-suites, 575 for the smaller loft room. Just little tweaks like that. I've still got forecast £500, and I should be making around £650 a month for that, which is a lot less than what I initially...
With 500 utility.
500 utility.
Yeah, that's good. That's conservative. I love it. But with your Inspire thermostat, it would never reach 500.
With that, right, landlord's thermostat, great. Yeah, that will reduce that. So I should get 100%. Maybe closer to...
300.
Yeah. So I should get maybe... £300, yeah. So in terms of profit every month, I should get around £750 to £800.
Yeah, but
maybe.
All right, but the fact you've priced it at 500, you're going to have a fair usage policy.
I do have the fair usage policy
of £400 with your tenants. So if it goes over that,
they will be
you're
paying
covered.
the extra.
That's absolutely fine. That's good.
I called. So after the viewing for this property initially, I waited for the agent to leave. I then come back and knocked the door and spoke to the tenants. And I said, look, I'm looking at potentially taking on this property. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions? So, because this will now solidify the offer that I can make.
Yeah.
Right. The justifying the jump from 2,550 to 2,740.
Yeah.
What are you paying for utilities? What are you actually paying? Because I'm hearing so many things in the mentorship, speaking with the other mentees for similar sized properties and what they're paying. But they're based all over the place, and different providers. So I get like a rough idea.
Yeah.
But I want to hear from the horse's mouth, the people actually paying the bills.
Yeah.
And he said, we're paying £350 for utility bills.
Yeah, nice.
So I was like, amazing. Like that's for
An
my bottom line.
Profit,
That's great.
Yeah.
Really great. Okay, it's happy days. And I spoke to Dan. He was like, that's still low. I don't think that's right. And I'm just like, I agree. I think
it is low.
That is low. But
low.
this is from the people paying the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, with that thermostat, you'll have no worries. So that's.
I'm happy with that, right? I called the energy provider yesterday to let them know I've taken over this property from the first, and I will be. I've given my bank details and said that I picked a package. I said, if you wouldn't mind, I'm at the property now. If I give you the meter readings for the gas and the electric, can you tell me what I can be forecast to be paying? So I know the tenants have said this is what they were paying. Not that they have any reason to lie to me, but I want to know, from the energy provider now.
You're someone who very get all your.
I'm meticulous. I am meticulous. Right?
Some people watching this be like, "Have I really got to do it?" No, you don't. This is Ashley.
I'm so meticulous. It's crazy, right? I want to cover everything to avoid any very costly mistakes. So I deep dive into every little bit.
Yeah.
They said based on the property. So when you sign up, you pick like a tariff. You've got like a low usage for like a one bed flat, a medium usage for like maybe 2 or 3 people living in a house, and then the high usage, which is for like 4+ people in a house.
Okay.
And they said you fall outside of all of that.
Yeah.
Right. You are on like the super high, but there is no super high. There's just the high, which is like 4+. And I explained there's like all the the showers and the en suites and the bath and it's a very big property.
And what did they forecast?
They said £189.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right, which is crazy. But they said that is just based on. They said it could be double that.
It will be double that.
Yeah. But they said based on the meter readings you've given.
It won't be double that, sorry, because of the thermostat. But
I would still expect around 350 to be honest, realistically.
Yeah. But you're covered with that thermostat.
But yeah, they said effectively from the meter readings that we've got, based on the usage, we can see the account. Based on the usage for the past 12 months, an average is about £189. And in my emails, I've got the quote that says £189.
Yeah, it definitely will.
And I said to the guy on the phone, I know you said that, but like, once I've got this fully tenanted, landed for that first month, really what am I actually going to be paying? Because you've said £189, but you've also said it could be double. So in your personal experience, if you wouldn't mind, just an extra 5 minutes.
Love it.
What am I actually going to be paying, right? Because this is a quote.
Yeah.
Right? This is not your landed cost.
Yeah.
And I want to know a landed cost because I want to plug it in. I want to know what profits I'm getting.
The thing is, right, you got to be running 12 months to then get an average of that 12 months per month to put in your calculator. And what we do in the mentorship is, ask other mentees, what have you averaged across 12 months? Yeah. And then get a collective.
Yeah.
So they
crazy.
They can't really give you a definitive answer on that.
So I'm now forecasted realistically to be getting £950 a profit, £950 profit. Give or take £100 is what I'm pretty much saying. Right?
That's nice.
Based on the utilities.
Where you should be for a 7-bed. So it's nice. Well done.
Yeah. I would say realistically, with the landlord thermostat being installed, probably on the higher end rather than the lower end. So I would say, the rent coming in is £4,200 a month, just over, give or take, the minor digits. There's £650 for the 2 en-suites rooms, £600 for the double rooms, £575 for the loft room. Rent is £2,740. Council tax is £189. Cleaner is probably going to be £80 a month, something like that. TV license like £13.50. Water is £70 roughly. Again, don't know that for sure, but about £70. And then give or take £100, £300 for the utilities. So all in should leave me with around anywhere from 700 to 900 is what I'm
nice.
8 to 9 realistically.
And you're going to do the first and last month's rent.
First and last month's rent to move in, and I've
as much investment as possible. If not, it should be all of it for 7 tenants.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through. You made your offer. The landlord's accepted it. The contract's signed. And how you had to wait a couple of months to collect the keys?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so
was that a worry, or the contract was signed?
Yeah.
The property was yours.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Yeah. Nothing. No reaction really. It was, and this is again, I keep coming back to trading. This is probably more about trading than property, right? But trading has killed my emotions so much. Deal. Literally, I probably didn't even crack a smile. Really. Yeah. I told my mate he was more excited than I was. He was like,
mate, I was buzzing.
But I was like,
I was at soft play with Jasper.
I followed the process and I got the result that I expected to get.
I was at soft play with my son and the message come through on my phone. So I hopped on a video call with you and I was just beaming. That's the best moment for me. When a client gets their first deal, that's what I do it for.
But I was just like, happy days.
Yeah, happy days.
What it is.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the start. And if anything, it was more of a daunting feeling like, shit, I need to get this stuff sorted now. Even though I had about 2 months before I was due to get the keys. I had the contract signed about 2 months prior.
Yeah. I was the same, right? So I secured 3 HMOs to start with. I had 5 months before I was collecting the keys, but we had a newborn due at the same day as key collection. So my garage was rammed full of beds, bedside tables.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was full up. Yeah. Honestly, you couldn't get in there. It was absolutely full up.
So from joining the mentorship, about March the 15th, I did 2 months non-stop, recorded everything, just flat out grind. Yeah. Right, calling agents. I've got a massive 250 calls, like I said, loads of viewings. I've got a spreadsheet that I've marked red and green for every agent in this area that was open the company left.
No, I love that. So you followed the agent response data.
Everything, black and white. I have to follow
Alex Hormozy says, if you don't track your business, you don't care about your business.
I've got as many metrics as I can get. I've tried to get everything, as much as I can get. And I've custom made a lot of stuff.
A lot of people aren't willing to put in graft for 3 months to have a successful business which will sustain the rest of their life. But they're happy to work for someone else's business for 14 years.
Literally, yeah. Something I've always lived by is that if you can do something for someone else, you can do it for yourself, right? So if you are doing a job doing something, why not do that for yourself? Yeah. And a lot of the times is because of the matrix, right, is that you go to school, you get an education, you get taught to kind of restrict yourself to a particular way of thinking. You get into debt to get education and get a car, there's more debt, and a house, there's more debt, and then you get a job, but it's secure, and it means that you can pay that debt. So people pay that job, and they're happy to just do that.
Everyone's brainwashed. The moment you step out of line, you're fined. There's a monetary fine behind it. You know, parking in the wrong area, fine. Don't pay the fine, it goes up. Take your kids out of school, fine.
It's massive.
So go out of the system is hard because, especially if you're deep into the system, a full-time job, you're a hamster on a wheel.
And particularly everyone around you as well. And if you mention any whiff of doing something outside of the system, that's a risk.
Yeah, I know. It's even like diets, you know.
That's a risk.
When I was working in the office, you know, I'm extreme with everything I do. I went onto the carnivore diet, so meat and dairy only. So I'm on my diet, and you get comments, what are you doing? You know, and it's like the moment you try something different, it attracts attention.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, so you got your deal. How was the mentorship? Did it meet expectations?
So, yes and no. I would say the course content, a lot of it was the stuff that I'd already knew, but that was because I'd spent obsessively getting all the free information I can and just pausing videos for any kind of minor comment that you've made, pause it, jot it down somewhere. Right? And from all different sources. So a lot of the things I already knew, but there were a few things in there that I didn't know about, you know, so there were the minor things that I found the most value in. Generally, I knew a lot of the stuff, I just didn't know what order to put it in and the things, so that the mentorship was great for that structure, right? And then the one-to-one mentorship is what initially tripped me up a bit because, and again with other trading mentorships, you go in with a certain expectation that someone is going to be there for every beck and call, anything that you need immediately, right? They're there for you. This is why I joined particularly your mentorship, was the one-to-one. That was the deciding factor between choosing you and someone else, is the one-to-one mentorship. Someone that has done it themselves and can offer that same service. The hand-holding for any little bits here or there. And initially, when I got the first auto response from Dan to say that this is my working hours, I was like, what? What do you mean you have working hours? Like, I paid all this money for this mentorship and you're not available whenever I need you. I was like, Then I checked myself a bit and I was like, well, this guy obviously has a life as well, you know? I can't just expect him to be there. And I spoke with Dan and I was like, you know, I mentioned a few things. I said, look, I feel like you're not there for me enough and things like that. And I kind of checked myself and he was like, look, I've got a job and things like that. And I was like, yeah, of course. Again, self-reflection, you know, as soon as I saw it from, and the lack of empathy, not even realizing that he would have a life himself. I just assumed he'd be there for me for any little thing
I would have made it like for every onboarding call, it's the same for me. I have the same structure. So it's all recorded as well. But I would have stated that the one-to-one support is 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
And again, I probably just got caught up
in the moment.
People
do, and it's hard. It's hard. So I'm glad you overcome that.
Yeah, because I sent down a message saying, look, you know, I don't feel as supported as I want to be supported. And then he explained everything, and I was like, mate, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. I fully understand. Like I said, just disregard that completely. I was just so... This is at the start of the mentorship, and I come in with these extremely high expectations with the money that I'm paying. I was like, this needs to be exactly what I want it to be. Like, I paid this money. It has to be the way I want it, or it's not going to work. And then this is
why I try and make it so transparent on the onboarding call. That the one-to-one support is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You know.
And since then, it's been smooth sailing. It's been perfect. You know,
I mean,
literally.
Outside of hours, we're flexible.
Yeah, of course. And Dan does. You know, whenever
something's urgent. We just want you to get results.
It's just at the very start. My standards were set so high because this is like I'm putting all my money into this. I'm expected to be exactly what I want it to be.
Tuck you into bed at night, read you a bedtime story.
But I kind of checked myself a bit.
Okay,
it's been
so
great.
in a nutshell, has the mentorship been for you?
Fantastic. You know, it's allowed me to ask those minor questions that you wouldn't get from like free information. The little kind of specific process things that you wouldn't see on a YouTube video because they're edited. It's the minor things like having a particular clause in the contract or some kind of step on the way, the accountability, you know, all that type of stuff. It's been great, like the HMO calls and all the other the weekly call with you as well. Seeing everyone else being successful and doing the same, starting at the same time and getting results. And you know, if you're not getting results, it gives you a kick up the arse because it's like they start at the same time. You know,
or started after.
Yeah, but I think I just.
I knew
that I'm that call was coming, and I didn't want to be the person to say, I've not really done anything. So it's kind of, because you have that accountability as well, it makes you take action, you know? So you can't say that it doesn't work because other people have joined at the same time and they're making it work.
Exactly.
And they've got a family and a job and they're making it work. So what are they doing that I'm not doing? You know, but fortunately I didn't have that because I am the way that I am. I'm very driven and you know, so I was always the one to say I've made this many calls, I've done this many viewings, and I was like I'm maxing out everything that I can.
For every mentor I've ever joined, I look at the students and I think I'm going to be the best. It's not arrogance, it's like confidence in myself. Like,
me too.
I've joined a mentorship, so I will be the best, and I will eventually outperform the mentor. And I've done it in every single field.
It's great, you know, and it's paid off massively, you know. So I've got this deal
your
now.
business is starting. This is going to profit very nicely. What's the way forward for you now?
So,
I mean, you're still part of the mentorship. It's not the end, is it? The ongoing support after the one-to-one is.
What I want to do now. So the next steps currently with this particular property is get the decorations finished. You know, getting the panels up on the walls. Get the furniture put together, and I've got like some artwork to go up and minor things like that. And then viewings should be in the next week or two. I don't mind it not being fully finished. Like there's a few niggly bits, like the shower head in the ensuite is missing a fitting. So I've asked the agent, you know, I think that's a landlord responsibility. Can that get sorted? Or the tenants may have caused that, so you can take it out of their deposit. Because I don't know exactly what fitting that is. There's no brand on it. It's just a pipe with a twist on it. So I was like, I have no idea. I need you guys to sort that. So minor things like that, and I can just explain to the tenants when they come for a viewing. It'll get sorted. You know, same with the furniture. If I haven't got all the furniture,
they just want
say
their
it's on
bedroom,
order.
hot shower, and an oven.
So once the viewings are done, then and I can get all that initial investment back. There's a few things I need to pay for, like the agent that I got this deal through is actually charging me £500 finder's fee. So I'll pay him that £500 finder's fee. It's no problem. You know, that's fine.
So you negotiated to pay that on completion? Nice.
So and I didn't even negotiate it. The agent, the owner of the agency, I've been dealing with the letting agent.
It's a bit cheeky, really, because there's a conflict of interest on their part.
Because they're going to be charging the landlord.
It's conflict of interest.
Massively.
You can't have two customers.
They are. They will. They're playing both sides.
And it's quite popular now. And
I would assume. I don't know this for sure, but I know most agencies will charge 50% of the first month's rent.
They'll charge the landlord finder's fee of the first month's rent. Not 50. The first month's rent.
And then there's going to be the fees for like setting up contracts, but I've done that because they won't do that. But they generally, most agents,
they shouldn't be doing it. It's wrong.
But again, I don't know that is the case with my agent. They just said, look, we've got, you know, just kind of through conversation, he said, oh yeah, by the way, there is a £500 finder's fee. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I was going to offer anyway.
The bigger picture is nothing, is it?
I was like, because we had a good relationship, I was like, if you can find me a deal, I will pay for. I'll pay you for it. Like, you know. So when they said £500, I was like, yeah, it's fine. I was expecting
it's less
to
than
pay you anyway.
Profit.
You know.
Okay.
It's fine.
So fast forward the next 6 months. What do you think life looks like?
So I do have another agent lined up. So I did a few viewings in Swansea with a different agent, the one I had put an offer in on. When I was there's a high street, and there's loads of agents on that high street. And I literally, after the viewing, I just went to every single agent, and I spoke to all of them for like 5 minutes. And the last one, and it's got uni in the name, and I was like, I don't know if they'd be interested. And so I was just like, and it's the furthest one away. It's the last one. It's like 5 o'clock at this point. It's probably closed. It's the furthest from my car. My car's parked down there, and this is like the other end. And I just caught a glimpse of it, and I knew the name from looking on like Rightmove and things like that. So I was like, oh, I recognise that name. I've never actually called them. That's like the only one I haven't had an interaction with of some kind. Let me go and speak to them on the off chance. Went and spoke to the agent. And it's this lovely guy, really lovely guy. He's maybe in his 60s. And he's managing... I ended up speaking to him for about 45 minutes, right? Rather than like the 5 minutes I spoke to with all the other agents talking about company lets and things. And most of them is like, we might have something. Our landlords generally don't go for that. Let me take your name, and if anything comes across, we'll let you know. And I was like, I've already sent you an email. If you look in your inbox, you'll see my name. But here it is. I sat with him for like 45 minutes and just asked him questions. He's an interesting guy. Turns out he's got over like 100 personal properties mortgage free. Quite a few HMOs, but quite a lot of like standard buy-to-lets. And he's the lettings manager for this company. Yeah. So he's managing all his own properties through that, as well as another 40 properties for that company. Okay. For other people. And I explained everything to him, and he said he's been asked by his family, why are you not doing like service accommodation on they're mortgage free, like you get stupid money. And he just simply doesn't have the time. Yeah. He doesn't have the time. And he wants to retire, but his words were, I don't trust the other agents to do a good enough job in this area, so I'm just doing everything myself. Yeah. Right. So he knows, he's been doing it for like 20, 30 years. Like he knows the deal. Yeah.
So he falls into the type of landlord that will accept the rent to rent.
Yeah. And when I explained everything and the way that I came across and how I talked and the confidence that I have in what I'm doing, he was like,
let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. Like, and I called him probably every week, every 2 or 3 days for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and he kept saying, I'm busy next week. And this day, this time, call me then, and I should be fine. And every time he was like, I haven't had a chance to look at your website yet. Because I give him the website.
You feel like you're becoming a pest, don't you?
Literally, I do. But I know that this guy, this is the key, for that area. Yeah. He's the key. Yeah. He's a massive landlord for that area. And he said, look, I know how busy you are. I'm not going to bullshit you. Let's make something happen, right? I'll take these properties off your hands, and you know that I will do a good job. Even though you haven't seen my website, we've had that face-to-face conversation and shook hands. Like, I'm going to take care of this like it's my own. Yeah, well done. Not even my own, like it is my company's own, because then I've got a vested interest in making this work, right? Exactly. If it's my own, you're a bit more, with the mess and things like that. But this is like, I'm running this like a business. So I will take the best care of it. And he's like, I love it. Let's do it. And he's just arranging that time. And then about 2 weeks ago, I said, let's get a viewing booked. And then he came down with norovirus. I was like, never. Okay. And this was last Monday. So I know I'm in the last week before getting the keys for this place. And I'm just like, I'm stuck now, right? Yeah. Because I'm just like, I know that landlord, he has said, come and pick which one you want, practically, right? He has said, come and see which one you want, in his words, right? So I know there's a deal there, guaranteed. But now, those viewings were booked for Friday, just gone. And my partner's grandmother died on the Thursday. So I was just like, shut down everything. I was like, I need to be there. Yeah. And at the same time, he had that norovirus as well. So I with the way the things worked out, I couldn't have done the viewings anyway. But they are pretty much guaranteed. But I told him, I've got this deal now in Cardiff. He seemed very impressed by that. He was like, because I've been consistently calling him. And then for me to say, I've turned around and said, I've got one now. And I'm going through it. The renovations are starting next week. He really liked that. So I will call him back. Once the dust has settled you and the money starts coming in, everything's fine, he will be the person that I call, and I'll get another deal through him, guaranteed.
And I'll come up and see that one as well.
Happy days.
Awesome. What advice would you give to anybody watching this video?
Education is the most important thing. And trust me, I am the person that has done everything for free as much as possible. You need to invest in yourself. It's the most important thing, right? Education, self-education is the most important thing.
Well, this has been Ashley's story from Forex trader to now rent-to-rent entrepreneur. Follow his Instagram. I'll leave that in the description. But bro, honestly, your future is very bright. So well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That's Ashley's very first Rent HMO. He's got a plan. He's very meticulous. He's got all of his ducks now in a row. It's onwards and upwards for him. And it's back to the countryside for me.